all want to win. We all want to make the best movie we can. We want to entertain as many people as we possibly can. And then we released it, and it became, I guess, the highest grossing picture of the year.
It's amazing, the timing of that movie when it came out. It hit a sweet spot. It really was that moment. It was the tone of it. We really nailed the tone, and we set out for that tone. We wanted that buoyant adventure competition movie.
Take the shot, kid. Take the shot.
Damn it! Missed! Don't let him go! Keep on him, Mav. Keep on him!
It just clicked, and everything came in. You have Harold Faltermeyer of music, Billy Weber, the editor, and all of the songs that came in at that time period.
Well, I think leather jackets became vogue after the movie came out. I think it made the military cool, too. People kind of loved the look of these young men. And Tony has such an eye for style and the way he dressed the women and ways of shooting things. And I certainly think it propelled a certain look to what movies were going to continue to look like after Top Gun.
I remember the press tour for Top Gun. I mean, it went on for months.
And he was very helpful with marketing the film, selling the film around the world. I mean, he still tells stories where he'll go into the jungles of somewhere in Africa and some kid will run up to him and say, "Hey, Maverick." So it's created an iconic image of what Tom is, in not only his real life, but in his fantasy life as a movie star.
Any of you boys seen an aircraft carrier around here?
Through now decades of doing this, I meet generations and still signing, these posters and pictures of Top Gun, and still seeing some people that I met back then. I remember early on Paramount was like, we want to do a sequel, on Top Gun. I was like, and I didn't want to touch it. They really put a lot of pressure on me for years. I felt more confident doing sequels to a Mission Impossible because I always knew from the beginning, I hoped that if Mission worked, I could do more. I hoped that if Reacher worked for an audience, I could do more. With this one, that's a very narrow target you've got to hit, man. It has got to be a bullseye. I'd traveled around the world and so many times, like the thing that convinced me is audiences kept saying, please make another one, please make another one. When I'm traveling around the world and they go, sign this thing, and when are you making the next Top Gun? I feel the pressure and I'm going, man, I want to deliver this for you. I don't want to just do it, I want to deliver. Jerry called me and we just started talking about it. It's like, okay, let's watch the original. We had not all sat in a room, Jerry, Tony, and I, and watched the film since the Washington premiere. And I said, look, if we're gonna do it, guys, I want the same spirit of movie. How do we do that 30 years later? How are we gonna accomplish that? How do we get this aesthetic today? The kind of technology we're looking at, digital and everything else. And you look at that flying, I don't want to do it where we have CGI jets.
28, no one's been this close before.
What's the story that's gonna take Maverick 30 years later? Because Maverick is Maverick. You can't change Maverick. He is that guy, period.
You're not gonna be happy unless you're going Mach 2 with your hair on fire. You know that.
It's a tall order, and it started to spark. Here we are, 30 years later. As I sit here talking to you today, we're waiting for the next draft of Top Gun 2.
Top Gun? Yes, sir. God help us.
The story has the same kind of spirit, but 30 years later, I was really I was amazed.
Well, we've all evolved. Tom's evolved as an actor. He's done one hit movie after another.
I can hold my own.
The Navy's much different today than it was then. Not only are they fighting a war, but they understand the power of the movie. God damn that guy. And they're much more engaged this time than we were originally. And we've all had ideas on how to make this a better movie, if that's possible, than the previous one. And that's what we're doing. We're getting much closer than we've ever been, but it's still a long process.
We're on the target. And I see that potentially we might be able to hit a bullseye.